What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video we are doing the 15th installment of Retro Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing my Gemini Jets 1:400 scale Egypt Air Boeing 707-300. Now I know that some of you are probably asking, didn't you unbox this model on the channel before? And yes, you would be correct. Back in Massive Unboxing number 10 in January of 2022, I unboxed this model, but this model holds a lot of personal value to me because I used to have an original copy of this all the way back in 2012 when I first got it. It was my second ever Gemini Jet to land into my collection. Unfortunately, I lost the original copy, and I did originally have the tail of that model, but I've seemed to have lost that too, so I don't have anything left except for the box, which is basically the same. This is the box for the new copy that I got back in 2022. So go ahead and take a look at the box first before we take a look at the model. This is your standard Gemini Jets box for the time, a model released all the way back in 2001. We have a limited edition die-cast model 1:400 scale, image of the plane with the Egypt Air logo, Boeing 707 logo, Gemini Jets real metal made for collectors by collectors, historical retro Jets livery, and a limited edition chrome version, along with the Egypt Air insignia right there. And then the license disclaimer just underneath that. We got the plastic cradle inside along with the pamphlet. Feel free to pause to read this. There's the bottom of the box, which has the registration included, Sierra Uniform Alpha Victor Zulu. Flip it here on the right side. We got Gemini Jets, image of the plane, Egypt Air Boeing 707, and all your other applicable details. Top of the box and the left side. And then the back side of the box, which has some of the information as seen on the inside of the flap. Released in July of 2001, so this is a very old school Gemini release. So now let's go ahead and bring the model into view. Really happy when I found one of these on the Panda Fox clearance section. I think it was for like $20. It was some like really cheap price, so clearly nobody wants these, but I do because I used to have one of these a long time ago, and it holds a lot of the sentimental value just because of that. The childhood memories indeed. Such a beautiful model from 2001, so let's go and take a look. Starting off up here at the front, we've got the nose cone, and we've got the cockpit windows along with the red and gold sheet lines. A little title there of some sort. Not entirely sure what that says. I could probably zoom in a little bit more, but yeah, I can't fully see that from there. We got the L1 door, we have the Egypt Air titles along with it in the native language. Flag of Egypt right there, and then we have the passenger windows along with a nice little cargo door there, which is kind of interesting. So I think this is like a 320C if I remember correctly. And then we move towards the midsection. We've got the engines on there, which do have the Egypt Air logo printed on. It looks really nice. Also like a little landing light right there on the wings closer to the fuselage. Got a couple exit doors just above the wings that the camera will focus back onto the fuselage. I know I gave the engine some attention, but we need to get back to the fuselage. So there we go. And then we have one of the rear doors back over there, and then the main rear boarding door with the registration printed under there, Sierra Uniform Alpha Victor Zulu, Boeing 707 just behind that rear boarding door, and then the beautiful Egypt Air tail. I remember sitting on my original copy accidentally, and I broke the tail off. Keep in mind that I was like 8 years old when that happened, so, you know, that's kind of why, you know, a lot of like really young kids shouldn't really be collecting these models, and instead, you know, if you want to collect models, there's always the Darren Real Toy stuff. But I've seen a lot of, you know, young kids collect the Gemini Jets models, which definitely isn't a bad thing, just as long as they're able to handle the models properly. Here's the right side of the aircraft, and go ahead and take a look back at the front section there. You can see the cockpit windows are very much smushed in. You can really see that. I don't think it's supposed to be like that, but keep in mind this is a model from over 20 years ago, so standards aren't as high as they are today. So I'm sure if somebody were to remake this model, it would probably be very much better. It would be a lot better quality and just looks much better. There's that nose gear, of course, which is pretty basic for the time. And yep, that's pretty much all it there. And of course, since this is a really old model, we do have a tail seam here in the back, which is really nice. And to be honest, I never really noticed that. I never really thought of the 707s having the tail seams, but that is indeed the case, as we have here. Flip it underneath, we've got a nice chrome belly along with the wings, which do have a little bit of a polished look there, but it's just like the metal material. It's not as polished as much as the fuselage. You can kind of see it there really shiny. You can probably see my reflection. Then there's like a gray paint under there as well, and then more of the polish there on that side and all around. There's a top section, again, no antennas, so, you know, not going to expect much from a model from 2001. And there's also a little beacon there as well, which looks really nice. So, a very lovely little model here. So, kind of, part of me wants to collect more of these types of planes, but I just have no need for them really, unless I really want to do like a retro airport from like northeastern Africa and into the Middle East from around this time. It'd be kind of interesting to see what all airlines operated with what aircraft, but I think there's still quite a few planes over there that are missing that we have not yet seen made by any manufacturers like Gemini Jets, JC Wings, Aeroclassics, etc. All of the applicable manufacturers. So now let's take a look at the aircraft's history. So this aircraft first flew all the way back in June of 1973, on June 13th, and it was delivered to Egypt Air on the same month. It got transferred to the National Aviation Company, how very generic of a name, in June of 1994. Still kept the same registration, though, from Egypt Air. Then it was transferred to Air Memphis in May of 1998, and then just 6 years after that, it ended up suffering an incident at the Cairo International Airport when it was operating with Air Memphis. According to the Aviation Safety Network report, it says, quote, "The aircraft lost directional control and ran off the side of runway 23 left. The right-hand main gear leg collapsed, causing additional damage to the number 3 and 4 engines. Thankfully, there were no fatalities or injuries from what I saw in that report, so that's at least the good news. But otherwise, the plane was damaged beyond repair, and it has not flown since, and presumably it has been completely scrapped." So a bit of a sad ending for this particular plane in the real world, but it still lives on, very much so in model form with Egypt Air colors. And that will do it for this retro review. With that being said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.